Everyone who has watched any season of Dragon Ball has already noticed that, although Goku is incredibly powerful, he is still just a mere mortal, and there are beings hierarchically above him. Gods, some much weaker, others immensely stronger. But have you considered how the divine hierarchy functions in the Dragon Ball universe? From the gods who rule planets, all the way up to Zen-Oh, the king of everything, who may pretend to be naive, but might be hiding secrets that could threaten his own reign in the future. The structure is complex and maintains the balance between worlds and dimensions. Today we are going to explore each level of the hierarchy, understand the roles of each deity, and find out where characters like the Kaioshins, gods of destruction, angels, and the enigmatic Grand Priest fit in. As a token of gratitude for the genius behind this universe, this video is dedicated to the great master Akira Toriyama, who gave us this fascinating world. I gave my all to bring you the best possible content, so I hope you enjoy it and subscribe to see more videos like this. As the Dragon Ball series progressed, Akira Toriyama began to introduce an elaborate hierarchy of gods, occasionally heavily influenced by the royal hierarchy seen in religions like Buddhism and Hinduism. Most of these divine figures inhabit the heavenly realm of the Dragon World. When I say Dragon World, it refers to the entire universe of Dragon Ball, including all its elements. The divine figure's task is to watch over the universe's inhabitants, both in their daily mortal lives and during their transition to the afterlife. Like many hierarchies, most divine figures oversee a specific region and report to a superior who supervises these collective regions. Although the other 11 universes likely follow a similar hierarchical structure, as seen in some of the direct parallels that are not shown during the franchise, this has not yet been explained in detail. But the other universes probably function the same way as Universe 7, according to all the official material that has already been presented. Next, I will describe each hierarchical position in the Dragon World, starting from the bottom all the way to the top, beginning with the planetary gods. The planetary gods, or kami-sama, are the first-level deities, with one for each planet hosting intelligent life. The most abundant gods in the Dragon World are those who oversee individual planets, with the first god seen in Dragon Ball being Kami-sama, the god of Earth. According to Daisen Shuset, the gods of each planet are selected from its sentient beings which possess consciousness, intelligence, and self-awareness. Karen and Mr. Popo are two divine attendants sent from the afterlife to assist gods chosen from the planet's natives. The purpose of this system is to supervise and protect the sentient life forms of each planet, and more importantly, to accelerate the development of sentient and mature species, guiding them toward greater happiness. The attendants or assistants sent from the afterlife are only allowed to act in a subordinate role to the god of the planet, based on the idea that the fate of a species should be entrusted to the species itself. This also seems to imply that planets with non-sentient life forms are not governed within this system, and are therefore left to fend for themselves. During the age of the dinosaurs, when Earth lacked sentient life, there was no god on Earth. God only exists where there is rational life. The method by which the gods of the afterlife govern the living world is by sending a staff to each planet. In other words, to supervise and safeguard Earth's sentient life. But besides that, the main goal is to stimulate the growth of a sentient and mature species, guiding it toward greater happiness. However, the people sent to each planet often do not become the god of the planet, but instead serve as a kind of attendant to God. Instead, an appropriate person among the sentient beings of the planet is selected to serve as God. Even Goku could have been chosen as the god of Earth, but it didn't happen as it didn't make sense. The principle appears to be that a species' fate should be left to the species itself, so the personnel sent are only permitted to act in a purely supporting role. Senior Popo and Master Karen were sent from the afterlife to Earth to dedicate themselves and support whoever was chosen as God. In Dragon Ball Z Episode 20, Kaios tells Son Goku about the Saiyajin's history. In this description, he states that planet Vegeta was destroyed when a god caused a massive meteor collision with the planet. This relates to Hadid's earlier explanation that a meteor impact destroyed planet Vegeta. Planet Vegeta likely has its own deity, but of course later on, we learned that it was actually Frieza who destroyed the planet, and that the meteor story was just a lie spread to cover up this fact. This raises the question, was Kaio misinformed like everyone else, or was he just trying not to reveal Frieza's existence to Goku? This issue is likely an inconsistency caused by the television series' additional material, which the original manga author ignored as they continued the series. It's intriguing to consider the gods' role in the series, especially regarding individual planets. Frieza built his empire with his power, to the point of having complete control over the entire Saiyajin race and their planet. Although Frieza was certainly never referred to as a god by any Saiyajin shown in the series, his supreme authority, which even extends to the fate of the planet, starts to approach that level. Is Frieza more or less a god of planet Vegeta, just like Katat's son Dende was for the people of Earth? Well, the official texts question this, but in my opinion, planet Vegeta didn't have a god because it's a stolen planet, and maybe there wasn't even time for that. The ancient Saiyajins are often described as beastly and primitive, but I believe they were always sentient, leaving us with a lingering doubt about this. That said, in a related area, the Great Elder, or Great Patriarch of planet Namekusei, seems to have taken on a sort of divine role, particularly in the way Kaio eventually communicates between the Elder and the God of Earth. It's very common for the Namekuseidans to be gods, since they're a race endowed with many magical powers. After all, 90% of Namekuseidans are born from the Dragon Clan, and 10% from the Warrior Clan, and those from the Dragon Clan have magical abilities that fit very well with the role of Kami-sama. However, after Dragon Ball Classic, we get to learn much more about what happens outside of Earth. This subject is much richer, which is why we're entering a very interesting phase. In this video, Enma and the Afterlife. The great King Enma is a being above Kami-sama, and unlike the Kami-samas, the planetary gods, there is only one Enma Daio. King Enma is the judge of the dead, deciding whether individuals will go to heaven or to hell. He approves exceptional deceased individuals to preserve their bodies and train under a Kaios guidance. He oversaw reincarnation and managed hell. Notably, Enma is based on Yama, a figure from Buddhism and Hinduism, making him among the few Dragon Ball gods derived from a real religious figure. All forms of life in the living world become spirits once they die and go to King Enma's palace. In Enma's realm, King Enma judges each spirit, deciding their fate between heaven and hell. This shows that a living being consists of a physical body and a spirit. Usually, only a person's spirit can enter Enma's realm after death. However, in rare cases at a planet god's discretion, people can visit Enma's realm with their physical body intact. Many people train with Kaio, including Son Goku, to receive his teachings. According to the official hierarchy charts, Enma ranks above planetary gods but below the Kaios. This is also somewhat visible in the series through the levels of politeness they use when speaking to and about each other. The god scolds Goku for speaking informally with King Enma when requesting permission to train with Kaio. You shouldn't address Lord Enma Daio like that, but a curious fact is that Enma himself traveled the Snake Way in the distant past, and even trained with North Kaio, which allowed him to subdue any violent spirit that came for his judgment. You are amazing, Count on Hadid. The souls that are judged as good by Enma board an extravagant passenger plane and are taken to heaven. Heaven, with a capital H, refers to the place situated in the sky above Enma's mansion in the Kaio realm. In this case, heaven with a lowercase h refers to the paradise realm above the firmament of Enma's realm. Just below the supreme planet is Lord Kaio's planet. Goku trained here during his preparation for the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai when he managed to reach Super Saiyajin 3. On the other hand, hell is where those considered evil are sent by Enma. Being the lowest realm of the afterlife, hell is separated from the higher divine realms by special clouds. Those coming from above can pass into hell, but anyone coming from below cannot pass, trapping them in hell. In episode 13 of Dragon Ball Z, Goku accidentally falls onto Snake Way in hell while on his way to train with North Kaio and gets stuck. There he meets Gozu and Meizu, two Onis or demons, in charge of guarding Area 3 of Block 1 in hell. After defeating them in a series of challenges, they show him a secret way out of hell, which leads to the top of Enma's desk drawer, and Goku must start his journey on Snake Way all over again. Gozu and Meizu are loosely based on Oxhead and Horseface, two guardians of the underworld from Chinese mythology. Their names are the Japanese readings of the Chinese names, similar to how Son Goku is the Japanese pronunciation of Sun Wukong, as Dragon Ball is inspired by a Chinese story called Journey to the West. In episode 93 of Dragon Ball Super, Goku asks King Enma for permission to allow Frieza to return to the world of the living for 24 hours, to compete with Universe 7 in the Tournament of Power. King Enma reluctantly agrees to Goku's request after learning that the universe's fate is at stake, but under the condition that Goku does not kill Frieza on Earth if he starts causing trouble. Instead, he should do it while they are away from Earth. In a tournament, King Enma orders to handle any out-of-control participant away from Earth to avoid dealing with them personally. That statement is a bit ambiguous, because it can be interpreted that King Enma is saying he is only responsible for supervising those who die on Earth. Actually, with the context of Frieza traveling to fight the warriors from other universes, King Enma is likely asking Frieza to die outside Universe 7 instead of on Earth, where he has died twice, possibly causing Frieza to disappear forever. Above King Enma are the Kaios, whose title is King of Worlds. That's what Kaio means. Regarding their positions, there is one for each galaxy: north, south, east, and west. The kings of worlds, the Kaios, are above all the gods of the universe and collectively oversee the entire universe from the afterlife. There are 4 Kaios who oversee the north, south, east, and west galaxies of the universe. Besides governing their region, the Kaios also train exceptional deceased martial artists permitted to retain their bodies in the afterlife. Above the 4 Kaios of the cardinal directions is the Dai-Kaio, or Supreme Kaio, who serves as their leader. He rules over the whole universe and is the most significant resident of the afterlife. As Kira Toriyama explains in his interview in the super exciting guide character volume, the Kaios are chosen from members of a certain race called Shinjin, or core people, which can also be referred to as the race of gods. They are named so because they are born from the fruit of the Kaiju, the world tree, which encompasses all of existence. It grows on the planet Kaishin, also known as the core world planet. Kaishin is a planet located in an unknown part of the macrosm, and it is like a larger version of the planets where each Kaio lives. There are about 80 Shindens living on Kaishin, and they spend their days living peacefully and studying various topics in a large castle. When a Kaio dies, a replacement is chosen from the Shindens by lottery. A standard Shinden lives about 75,000 years, so this doesn't happen very often. Toriyama states that Shindens are genderless, although each has masculine or feminine traits. The North Kaios planet is over 100 million years old, suggesting that the Shindens have been serving as Kaio for at least that long. Similar to other gods in the dragon world, the Kaios are mortal beings who can die. The North Kaio is killed by Goku when he teleports Cell to his planet moments before Cell self-destructs, taking them all with him. The idea of replacements for the Kaios by lottery came from Akira Toriyama many years later, which is probably why no replacement is even suggested during the series. Even so, death doesn't seem to stop the Kaios from having fun, so to speak. Now, above the Kaios come the Kaioshins. They have the title of Gods of the Kings of Worlds, and there is also one per galaxy. The Kaioshins are the gods of the Kaios, who are even above the Kaios themselves, who are also gods. In essence, they are the gods of gods, overseeing not only the universe but also the afterlife where the Kaios themselves live. Each Kaio, north, south, east, west, and supreme, who oversees all, has a corresponding Kaioshin. Similar to the Kaios, the 4 Kaioshins oversee the north, south, east, and west galaxies, and likely the 4 afterlife quadrants, while the Dai-Kaioshin oversees the universe and afterlife. The various Kaios govern the infinitely expansive universe of the living world. This is determined mainly by the cardinal direction, while the Dai-Kaio serves as a general manager of the places governed by the Kaios. The Kaioshins of the north, south, east, and west govern the entire universe. Ultimately, the Dai-Kaioshin, or Supreme Kaioshin, oversaw the universe in its entirety. Besides this broader scope, they are also much more powerful than the Kaios. While the North Kaio was weaker than Nappa, the East Kaioshin says that each of the Kaioshins was strong enough to defeat the Namekian Frieza with a single blow. Daisen Show 7 states that the Kaioshins will interfere in the affairs of both the living world and the afterlife if an event is considered capable of deciding the fate of the Dragon World. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 53, Goei's from Universe 10 says that Kaioshins should only create and observe, while gods of destruction are the only ones permitted to interfere. In crucial situations threatening the universe's fate, Kaioshins may intervene in the afterlife and the living world. The 2013 movie Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods reveals that the Kaioshins, despite only being shown in a supervisory role, are counterparts to the gods of destruction and have the power of creation. To spread life throughout the universe, the Kaioshins establish new planets and fill them with a myriad of life forms, either transplanted from other planets or newly created, with various levels of essence. In his first Shozen Shu interview, Yama describes the connection between the two opposing deities. Instead of Kaioshin-sama creating planets, he is able to provide the impetus for them to be born. In addition, sometimes he splits a planet and increases the number of planets. He can create or transplant life forms from other planets, but his primary role is to oversee the many planets. Due to the vast number of planets, the 4 Kaioshin assist him as well. They intervene if it looks like the balance of the universe is going to collapse, but normally they only act in an advisory role for new life forms and don't get involved. The god of destruction balances the growing number of planets by destroying them based on his own judgment. However, when capricious, he destroys important planets without hesitation, or when he considers them a nuisance, disregarding the Kaioshin's orders. As with Beerus, this causes the mortal level to drop significantly, leading Universe 7 to have the second worst mortal level due to the scarcity of planets and the underdevelopment of some. The Kaioshins are assisted by a being called Kibito, whose name comes from the Japanese word tsukibito, which means attendant or assistant. In both the manga and anime, Kibito's origin and nature are never fully explained. In the official hierarchies, he is listed as an attendant to all Kaioshins, but in the series, he only assists the East Kaioshin. This is presumably because the others are all dead. Kibito's main duty seems to be using his Kai technique to teleport the Kaioshins from planet to planet, in addition to his healing ability. The Dragon Ball Super manga reveals that all those who serve the Kaioshin are able to use the same healing powers as Kibito. This includes Zamasu, Gowasu's apprentice from Universe 10, and even Trunks, yes, who briefly became a disciple of the Universe 7 version of the Kaioshin in his parallel timeline. In Dragon Ball Super, Chapter 24, Trunks said the Universe 7. Kaioshin danced around him for 3 days to make him a disciple. Unknowingly, the ritual Trunks performed also granted him healing abilities. Presumably, both Kibito and Zamasu obtained their own healing powers in the same way. The origin of Kibito before serving the Kaioshins remains unclear. The only people in the realm of the Kaioshins are the Kaioshins and Kibito, and they have an entire planet to themselves. To allow them to oversee both the afterlife and the world of the living, the Kaioshins live in the realm of the Kaioshins, which is located outside the macrocosm and orbits around it in a way similar to how the moon orbits around the Earth. The greatest treasure of the Kaioshins is the Potara earrings, which allow them to fuse with others to gain even greater power. The Potara fusion is permanent when done with a Kaioshin. However, Goas explains in Dragon Ball Super Episode 66 that for non-Kaioshins, the Potara's effects last only an hour. The Kaioshins also use time rings to travel to the future and observe civilizations as they develop. In Episode 54 of Dragon Ball Super, Goas states that only the Kaioshins are qualified to use the time rings, and warns that traveling to the past is strictly forbidden, as altering history is extremely dangerous. Continuing his explanation about the origins of the Kaios in the super exciting guide character volume, Akira Toriyama further explains that the Kaioshins are selected only from the Shindins born from the golden fruits of Kaiju, which are particularly rare. The Shindins from the golden fruit live longer than ordinary Shindins. The East Kaioshin lived for 5 million years, while ordinary Shindins only live for 75,000 years. However, Akira Toriyama later gave a contradictory answer to this in his interview in the Dozeball Mysteries with Naho Oishi when asked about who can become a Kaioshin. He says that no one can. The Kaioshins are born as Kaioshins. 3 of them work in shifts, with 2 currently on duty. If one of the Kaioshins were to die in an accident, then the currently native Kaioshin would grow in the Kaioshin realm as a plant, in this case, the golden fruit. If there are no accidents, it is said that their lives last 75,000 years. According to the Daisen Shusette, 5 years before Dragon Ball began, Majin Buu killed the North and West Kaioshins and absorbed the South and Supreme Kaioshins. Despite this, the missing Kaioshins have not been replaced, leaving the East Kaioshin as Universe 7's sole supreme god for millennia. This may be due to the extreme rarity of the golden fruits of the Kaiju tree, as none may have grown during all these years. Eventually, an older Kaioshin from 15 years ago is released, while Goku and Kibito refer to him as Dai Kaioshin at various times, including the first time this term is used in the series. It's unclear if he officially became the Supreme Kaioshin, or if Goku and Kibito were just being polite to distinguish him from the younger Kaioshin. Secondary sources often refer to him as Elder Kaioshin or Kaioshin from 15 generations ago. I typically call him Elder Kaioshin on the channel, but in the Japanese version, I always say Uro Kaioshin. In an interview for the June 2014 edition of Psycho Jump, a prominent Japanese magazine, the creature Yama revealed the story of how Elder Kaioshin became sealed in the Z-Sword as part of the Bull Mysteries segment. The Kaioshins, who create planets, and the gods of destruction who destroy them, never really got along, but once every 1,000 years, they go to each other's realms and hold a coordination meeting. In one of those meetings, they had a disagreement over something trivial, and a certain short-tempered god of destruction sealed the Elder Kaioshin inside a sword. It was inappropriate for Beerus, the god of destruction described by Toriyama, to destroy the Kaioshin's realm itself. Dragon Ball Super reveals that a Kaio can be promoted to Kaioshin after training under the current Kaioshin, as seen with Zamasu and Goas from Universe 10, though this system may be unique to Universe 10 and not apply to Universe 7. However, in Dragon Ball Super manga, Chapter 24, the Universe 7, Kaioshin implies he was the Dai Kaioshin's disciple, serving as the Kikibito. Now, a bit off the radar of Universe 7, away from the divine hierarchy, yet extremely powerful beings, we have the Makaios and the Makaioshins, characters who will be explored in the new season of Dragon Ball that's going to launch Dragon Ball Diamond, so it's very important to know about them. In the super exciting guide, Akira Toriyama explains the origins of the Kaios and Kaioshins, and reveals the existence of the Makaios and Makaioshin, gods of the demon realm, an area beyond the reach of even the god's eyes, according to the Daisen Shusette. They are the opposites of the Kaios and Kaioshins ruling over evil. Toriyama says that the Kaioshins' power currently exceeds that of the Kaioshins, keeping them in check. When an evil Shinden is born, they leave the planet Kaishin and go to the demon realm to join the Kaioshins. However, it is not known whether the Kaios or Kaioshins are selected from these evil Shindens or if they are native beings of the demon realm. And the evil Shindens are simply their allies. Maybe in the new season we'll get an answer. It is unknown if Dabura was a Makaio or Kaiyoshin. Although his title of King of the Demon Realm has the same meaning as Makaio, Toriyama didn't say whether he is or not. He could simply be a political ruler of the demon realm and not its god. Just as the King of Earth is different from the God of Earth, it is also not known how many Makaios or Kaioshins exist in total or how they are chosen for their positions. Apart from Toriyama's brief explanation, little is known about them, with most details likely remaining in Akira's mind. The production is set to release on October 11th at 11:40 in the already finished season. Follow the full coverage here on the channel if you're subscribed. Subscribe and like if you enjoy the video and want to follow the channel's future content. Occupying one of the highest positions among all the gods, we have the Kaioshins. Their title is God of Destruction, and they are extremely rare. There is only one per universe. The Kaioshins have the power of creation, which initiates the birth of planets and life forms, while the God of Destruction holds the power and authority of destruction, living up to his title. As new planets are born, the God of Destruction destroys existing planets to maintain the balance of life in the universe. In contrast to the Kaioshins, who are powerful in their own right as gods compared to most mortals, the gods of destruction possess much greater power, and their strength can rarely be challenged. The 2013 movie Battle of Gods reveals that the Dragon World consists of 12 universes. Beerus, the god of destruction of Universe 7, was unaware of Earth, which Whis describes as Planet 40328877 in the coordinates. The movie Beerus revealed the existence of multiple gods of destruction, but it wasn't until Dragon Ball Super introduced Champa, the god of destruction from Universe 6, that it was definitively confirmed each universe has its own god of destruction. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 42, after the Universe 6 and 7 tournament, Beerus tells Goku that each universe has its own god of destruction, explicitly stating this fact for the first time. All the gods of destruction from the 12 universes are introduced during the Universe Survival arc, where the Tournament of Power takes place. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 55, Whis discloses that a universe's god of destruction and Supreme Kai are connected as a pair, meaning if one perishes, so does the other. To Beerus's dismay, Goku quickly realizes that the simplest way to defeat a god of destruction is simply to kill their comparatively weaker Supreme Kai. This connection seems to be known only by very few, since the Shuzen-Shu indicates that the link between the two remains shrouded in mystery. However, Zamasu and Goku Black fully exploit this secret in their campaign to exterminate the gods of Trunks' parallel timeline. Above the gods of destruction are the angel attendants. The gods of destruction are joined by angels sent by the King of the 12 universes. An angel's primary duties are to guide, train, and control the destructive power of the god of destruction they serve. The angels are immoral and indifferent by nature. As Whis explains in Dragon Ball Super Chapter 18, they must stay neutral and not intervene in conflicts. The angels are also highly intelligent, showing deep knowledge of the hierarchy, structure, and inner workings of the dragon world. Each angel carries a staff enabling communication with gods, projecting and observing events across the cosmos, self-protection, and travel to almost any location, along with numerous other capabilities. Whis can reverse time for up to 3 minutes, but it's uncertain if other angels can do the same. I've made a video about angels on this channel before. As you keep watching, YouTube will suggest related videos. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 63, the Universe 7, Kaioshin discloses that an angel is directly connected to their universe's god of destruction. If the god of destruction dies, the angel will stop functioning until a new one is appointed. V-Jump magazine reports that the 6 angels are inactive. Zenon, in a fit of rage, destroyed 6 of the 18 universes that once existed. Nevertheless, the angels stay active even after their gods of destruction are eliminated. Although this may be a special circumstance, since the elimination of an entire universe means that the position of god of destruction will never be filled again. In his debut, Zen-Oh, King of the 12 Universes, jests about replacing Beerus and Champa with new gods of destruction. So it seems that he has some authority, maybe even final authority, to appoint the gods of destruction. But how does succession work? Throughout Dragon Ball Super, Beerus often wonders if Goku is trying to steal his position as the god of destruction of Universe 7. Whis offers Goku the role of the new god of destruction upon Beerus' death, and extends the same offer to Vegeta, along with training. The Universe Survival arc later introduces Toppo, a candidate for Universe 11's god of destruction. This candidate position, called Hakaishin Kahu, is held with the approval of Belmont, the current god of destruction of Universe 11 and the Kaioshin Kai. In Chapter 28 of the manga, Belmont, a god of destruction, mentions that he has held the position for 87,910,715 days and plans to retire soon. At the end of the arc, Toppo abandons his pride during his battle against Vegeta, Frieza, and Number 17 and seems to become a complete god of destruction. This apparent contradiction of possibly having two gods of destruction in a single universe is not further explained. Toppo is a different species than Beerus and Champa, and the gods of destruction from other universes are a diverse mix of various species. Based on all this, it seems likely that the gods of destruction are recruited from strong individuals of any species, just as the gods of specific planets are recruited from outstanding members of the local population. It's still not clear how Beerus and Champa became gods of separate universes, even though they're of the same species and are even brothers. They presumably originated from the same universe. Above all the gods of destruction and all the angels, we have the Grand Priest. King Zen-Oh also has an assistant, the Grand Priest, also known as Daishin-Kan, an angel who often acts as the Omni-King's messenger representative to various gods of the universes. The Grand Priest counsels Zen-Oh to eliminate the losing universes in the Tournament of Power. However, his calm demeanor should not be underestimated, as Whis explains to Goku in episode 55 that the Grand Priest is considered one of the 5 most powerful individuals in all the universes. It is revealed in episode 67 that the Grand Priest is Whis' father, and in chapter 29 of the manga, he is also referred to as Whis' father when talking to Whis. Note that in Japanese, they are clearly indicating a family relationship and not referring to him as father because of his status as a priest. Since Vados is Whis' older sister, she is presumably another daughter of the Grand Priest, but it is still unclear how many of the angels are part of this family, although perhaps all of them are. And above any being in the Dragon Ball hierarchy, we have Zen-Oh, the king of everything, and there is only one of him per timeline. Interestingly, his kanji symbol closely resembles the shape of Zen-Oh's palace, a similarity I've never seen mentioned. Zen-Oh, introduced in Dragon Ball Super Episode 40, is the supreme divine being. Following the tournament between Universes 6 and 7, Beerus and Champa were startled by the sudden arrival of a small figure, known to them as Zen-Oh. Zen-Oh in Japanese means king of everything. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 41, it stated that Zen-Oh is at the top of the 12 universes. Zen-Oh has the authority to appoint new gods of destruction, and the angels are sent by Zen-Oh himself, according to Toriyama. More details about his exact role are scarce. In fact, instead of performing some kind of function or job like most of the other gods, the events of the universe survival arc show that Zen-Oh simply tries to entertain himself, and all other forms of life are forced to follow his whims. He wears a cape with the kanji Zen, which means everything. This is a kanji that, if mirrored, looks exactly the same. In Japanese, there are 3 writing systems: hiragana, katakana, and kanji. Kanji are ideograms also used in Chinese, which can represent people's names. The Hakaishins of the universes revere Zen-Oh, who behaves like a small child despite his immense power, which they also fear. In episode 41, Beerus tells Goku that Zen-Oh could instantly destroy all 12 universes if he desired. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 47, Beerus and Whis tell Goku that there were originally 18 universes, but Zen-Oh destroyed 6 of them when he felt slightly offended. Beerus informs Goku that despite not fighting, Zen-Oh is the strongest being, with Whis adding that Zen-Oh can instantly erase anything, which he demonstrates by destroying Trunks' dystopian future in the anime. After the battle with the Enmas, Goku brings Zen-Oh from the parallel timeline to the present, resulting in the current timeline having 2 Zen-Ohs at the same time. While the gods of destruction and Kaioshins from the universes choose their words very carefully in Zen-Oh's presence, often speaking with humiliating formality and bowing in respect, the angels he sent to guide them speak to him in a much more casual manner, and also never bow in his presence. In Dragon Ball Super Episode 41, Whis and Vados humorously criticize their gods of destruction, prompting Zen-Oh to playfully suggest replacing them. Zen-Oh is accompanied by 2 tall and slender attendants who stand by his side and ensure that etiquette and good manners are respected in his presence. The Pa rarely speak, often appearing stoic beside the king, although occasionally they react with disdain when he is approached informally. In episode 55 of Dragon Ball Super, the attendants tell Goku to be careful with his words when he addresses Zen-Oh boldly, but Zen-Oh in turn quickly tells them to settle down, or he will erase them from existence. Despite not showing any power yet, Zen-Oh's attendants exhibit unique abilities. In episode 41, they disappear from the tournament arena and reappear before Goku, trying to stop him from approaching the king. Although the exact position of the guards in the hierarchy is uncertain, This question may not be relevant since they have no direct function in the mortal world. The Dragon Ball universe's divine hierarchy, from bottom to top, includes planetary gods and their assistants, Kaios, Supreme Kaio, Enma, Kaioshins and their assistants, Supreme Kaioshin, gods of destruction, angels, the Grand Priest, and at the top, the king of everything, Zen-Oh. If you've watched this lengthy video until now, it means you enjoyed the content. I worked really hard to bring accurate information, write the script, narrate, edit, and produce everything with the best quality possible. If you liked it, leave a like. For more content like this, subscribe to the channel. There's more to come. I sincerely thank the channel members. I just launched the membership program and we already have our first subscribers. Special thanks to Eduardo Matos, Christian Preto, Rodrigo Marcus, Gerson Yuri Mike, Iago Coelho, Jackson Flausino, and Ramon Carcado. You are the fuel that motivates me to keep the Dragon Ball flame alive, even after so long without new episodes. For more details on the upcoming season premiering in under a month, click the screen to watch my trailer breakdown. The video quality is the same as this one and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching and see you next time. I'll stop here. See you?